Shalom, shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us this beautiful truth. Today's lesson will be titled Extremities. Be ready always. And us being the watchmen of the Lord, prophets, hopeful prophets of the Lord, and really just you could be anybody, and you just look at what's happening in the world, you could see that hell is brewing even more than it was. And for those of us that can see, and for those of us that can hear, it's a sign, just like the scriptures told us. For when will the kingdom come? But for the Lord will give us signs and wonders to let us know when the time is coming, because no one knows the exact time that it's coming except for the Father. I butchered that scripture up a little bit, but we got to be on our toes and be strong, and this is kind of just through the spirit. I got some videos I want to play that back what I'm saying, and let's just get into it.
Military losses.
So this is a list of U.S. losses from Iranian attacks, according to IRGC spokesman.
Now listen to Ben Mycelis from the Midas Touch go through this list.
And Iran said, look, here's what we hit, and here's what we can prove that we hit. 47 radar and air defense systems, 44 support and logistics systems, 48 operational infrastructure like those containerized housing and barracks, 49 aircraft and aerial assets. You take a look at this list. Radar and defense systems, 7 command and control centers, 3 satellite communication systems, 6 Patriot air defense radars, 3 air and maritime surveillance control radars, 8 detection and early warning radar systems, 7 air and missile defense radars, 3 EPS radar systems, 2 EPS 117 radars, 5 long range 117 radars, 5 long range radars, 2 air defense radars, 1 tactical radar complex. Now support and logistics facilities. 6 fighter jet and helicopter maintenance centers, 3 support and logistics centers. These are all U.S. military facilities and equipment. 12 fuel storage tanks, 17 warehouses storing weapons, spare parts, naval equipment, and aircraft components, 6 missile storage depots, operational infrastructure, 6 MQ drone hangars, 1 F-15 fighter preparation hangar, 1 drone hangar containing 8 factory new drones, 2 command centers, 1 aircraft carrier refueling platform, 1 P-8 aircraft hangar, 4 HIMAR missile launchers, 5 fighter aircraft hangars, 4 Patriot air defense complexes, 6 missile launch platforms, 1 fuel pumping station, 2 signal communication centers, 1 intelligence data center, 1 artificial intelligence and data processing facility associated with Amazon, 1 depot for remotely operated unmanned surface vessels, 1 fuel pier, 4 fighter aircraft shelters, 6 aircraft parking and operating ramps, and in terms of aircraft and aerial assets, 11 fighter aircraft and helicopters destroyed or damaged on the ground.
Oh, and fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. This is not a monetized channel, and I will not be making any money from this video.
17 reconnaissance and operational drones, including 8 factory new aircraft, 1 F-15 fighter jet, 1 P-8 maritime patrol aircraft, 1 C-17 transport aircraft, 8.
And you can see that this guy is just going to keep listing shit off. And these devils got it coming. And what just a coincidence that on the 250th birthday, in the midst of that, this is happening. World War III talks. The third woe, and we've been in it, and it's just getting hotter. And I guess that's enough of this video, because I got another video to play. Let me switch that. Do this. This.
States and Saudi Arabia now have joined forces to strike Iran-backed terror sites in Iraq after the regime launched a surprise move.
And these devils thought that it was they could just be the big bully, but this is just another sign of the times that our salvation is just that much more closer. That this small little ass nation that doesn't even have nuclear power is putting up such a fight and is destroying a lot of fucking shit from the U.S. and putting up a good fucking fight. And I got a scripture just through the spirit. This is Psalms 7:16. Let's KJV. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. Now let's get it in the NIV, the New International Version. The trouble they cause recoils on them. Their violence comes down on their own heads. On their own. They know that they have little time. You think that you could poison, dilute the mind, body, and souls of your people in your nation, and then have them sign up for the military, and you think that won't affect you? These fucking people in the fucking military are faggots, ABCD community, stupid, poisoned up, jabbed up. Come on. Actually, and I got another one before we play this video. Slakia. Revelation 13:10. An oldie but a goodie. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. It must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. Khan. So these devils we are in the midst of these devils getting exactly what they deserve. And what a time to be alive. And it is a beautiful time to be alive. But just as the title points to, that we also need to put our part up, because the Lord is always going to come through on his end. We need to be strong. We need to keep our vessel pure and clean, because even our righteousness is filthy rags, the scripture says. So it's never enough. And in all this war and destruction and Armageddon, it's easy for anybody to get touched by a bomb, by famine, fucking anything. And we will be going through extremities, multiple extreme situations and scenarios, and we need to be the people, the person to be able to overcome extreme obstacles, even more extreme that we have been dealing with. But enough with my talking.
Missile attack on American troops in the region who were traveling to Jordan.
The commander-in-chief now...
Again, fair use, fair use, fair use. Not making any money on this, just making an educational video.
Next steps after holding high-stakes meetings with world leaders at the White House.
So Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv with all the action. All right, Trey, make sense of it.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. Overnight, Iran launched a surprise attack against U.S. forces in Jordan. At least 5 missiles were fired by Iran, breaking the lull in fighting over the past several days. CENTCOM released a statement saying at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time today, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran in an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces based in the Middle East. All Iranian missiles were successfully intercepted.
And they already destroyed a whole bunch of shit, and now it's like, I mean, they're still on that same path. They're finna destroy some more shit, and they're gonna keep going until they die, because they're martyrs for whatever they stand for, and people are tired of getting pushed around by Babylon.
U.S. forces remain vigilant and at a high state of readiness. The United States has not yet responded to that attack, but overnight, U.S. and Saudi planes conducted a series of airstrikes against Iran-backed Shia militias in Iraq, who were responsible for 30 drone attacks over the past 3 days. On those strikes, CENTCOM said the unwarranted attacks against U.S. forces were not successful. From February through April 2026, there were more than 600 attempted attacks on U.S. citizens and facilities by Iran-aligned terrorist militias in Iraq. The IRGC and its terrorist proxies must cease these attacks to avoid further U.S. military response. This kinetic action in the Middle East comes as reports indicate Iran has rejected an Omani proposal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. On Tuesday, President Trump held a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as the pair decide the next steps in the war with Iran.
Look at this regime today. It's attacking everybody in sight. It's attacking Saudi Arabia. It's attacking Kuwait. It's attacking Bahrain. It's attacking the UAE and others. It's attacking everything in sight, and it murdered and maimed tens of thousands of its own citizens. This is what this regime in Iran does today when it doesn't have nuclear weapons. Now imagine what they will do to the world if they had nuclear weapons. And that's what we have to make sure that we prevent.
With no diplomatic breakthroughs, the region may see more intense fighting in the days ahead. Guys?
So, Trey, whatever truce we were under, whatever talks may have been taking place, it didn't seem to matter. But the IRGC says it's wrong to assume that we told the Iraqi militia to rocket U.S. interests or Saudi interests. They don't expect us to buy that they would act independently, do you? Do they really expect that statement to fly?
Even if the IRGC was telling the truth, and in this case they are not, the next question would be, why did you launch 5 ballistic missiles at U.S. forces overnight after the president offered you another negotiation window?
Right.
But when it comes to the proxy groups across the region, the IRGC has direct control and funding of these organizations, not just these Shia militias in Iraq, but also the Houthis in Yemen and the threats that they have made against the Bab al-Mandab Strait, this entrance to the Red Sea. And so while the Iranians continue to say that they are looking for some sort of negotiated settlement, the reality on the ground is quite different. And again, this strike overnight is significant, these airstrikes against these militia groups. It is not unexpected given the number of drones that were launched over the past 72 hours. But really the focus here is on that missile attack overnight against U.S. forces in Jordan. Remember, earlier this month, 3 American service members were killed in Jordan by these exact Iranian ballistic missiles. And that is exactly what they were trying to do overnight, kill more American soldiers. And according to CENTCOM, those missiles were intercepted.
And Trey, what is new about today's news is the fact that Saudi Arabia, this is the first time Saudi Arabia has really gotten involved in this. And they say they don't want a further escalation, but they just want to be able to protect their energy infrastructure. So, I mean, that's quite a message to Iran from the kingdom. Hey, don't screw with us, guys.
You really do have to consider the calculation here, because the firepower from the United States and Saudi Arabia greatly outweighs the ability for these Iran-backed Iraqi Shia militias to actually defend against any incoming attacks. But yet they are still launching drones, not just at Saudi Arabia, but also U.S. forces in the region and Israel. The Israelis say they shot down over the past several days a number of drones along the border with Jordan. And it gives you a sense of what these drones threaten. And remember, there was another U.S. service member killed when they were disarming one of these drones in northern Iraq. And so there are a lot of moving parts here, but the proxy forces of the Iranian regime have been directly attached to officials in Tehran. Remember, last week, President Trump issued a warning to the Houthis in Yemen, and he said if you launch missile or drone attacks against shipping vessels in the Red Sea, then not only will the Houthis pay a price, but also the Iranian regime. And so we are likely to see an escalation here in the response from U.S. forces, Saudi forces, and others, because they want to send a clear message to Iran that whether you attack from your own territory or you use your proxies in the region, there will be a price to pay.
Trey, we're talking about the military aspect of this war, but there's also been a great financial strain to Iran, both with the naval blockades as well as the war itself. How sustainable is that financial strain for Iran?
It's not very sustainable at all, and that's why the Iranians...
Here, 1 second, Slakia. Let's go back.
Naval blockades as well as...
pay a price, but also the Iranian in Tehran. Remember, last week, President Trump issued a warning to the Houthis in Yemen, and he said if you launch missile or drone attacks against shipping vessels in the Red Sea, then not only will the Houthis pay a price, but also the Iranian regime. And so...
So, 1 second. Slakia. I had a scripture, but then it left me, so I'll just play it again.
So we are likely to see an escalation here in the response from U.S. forces, Saudi forces, and others, because they want to send a clear message to Iran that whether you attack from your own territory or you use your proxies in the region, there will be a price to pay.
Trey, we're talking about the military aspect of this war, but there's also been a great financial strain to Iran, both with the naval blockades as well as the war itself. How sustainable is that financial strain for Iran?
It's not very sustainable at all, and that's why the Iranians are painted in a corner here. They have to make some sort of decision, and it's a binary decision. They're either going to return to war with the United States of America, or they're going to sign a negotiated settlement that addresses opening the Strait of Hormuz and their nuclear ambitions. And that is why the region is such at a critical point right now, and why that meeting yesterday in the Oval Office between President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu was so significant. The Iranians are economically suffering as a result of the U.S. naval blockade of their ports. They are losing hundreds of millions of dollars each and every day. Inflation is rapidly rising in Iran. We have heard from Iranian civilians who are having trouble keeping their businesses open. Okay. The IRGC reportedly cannot even pay its own soldiers as a result of the lost funds because they're not able to export their critical thing, and that is oil. And as a result of this U.S. naval blockade, they are being choked off economically. And they're in a position now where they have to make a decision. Are they going to sign a negotiated settlement or return to war?
Good question.
Khan, that's it on that. Let me get this scripture. Psalms 37 and 20. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord Yahweh shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume into smoke, they consume away. Now let's get it in the NIV. But the wicked will perish. Who's the wicked? And if you don't know that by now, well, I don't know what to tell you. But the wicked will perish. Through the Lord Yahweh's enemies are like the flowers of the field. They will be consumed. They will go up in smoke. Like smoke, like it's nothing. It's gonna be nothing. Like in Galatians, right here actually, Galatians 6 and 7. Wait, no. Wait. Yeah, Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. And they've been mocking the Lord since they've existed. And so a lot of Jakes actually, I guess a little side note, a lot of Jakes, they don't believe what ultimately at the core is because they're spiritual blockers and the angels put up to block them from receiving the truth, which is what the Lord wants. So Brakti Hawashim Yashai. But Jake has resentment towards the Lord because they say that they done been through so much things. Like, example, enslavement. Why the Lord ain't do nothing? Like, I got a coworker that fucking says that exact same shit. Damn near often. Like, man, he really resents the Lord. But what they don't understand is that, like the scripture says, the Lord's time is not the same as our time. So, what's, a couple days for us is thousands of years have passed by for the Lord. So Jake just lacks understanding, but the scripture tells us that we've been stripped from our heritage, so there will be Jake confused. As per another scripture says, 2/3 of Israel shall be cut off. That's why it says, Galatians 6:7, be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he soweth to his flesh, shall of the flesh reap corruption. Look at the world you live in now. Everything is corrupted. It's the end. But Jake, man, Jake ain't trying to hear that shit. They trying to roll himself up a blunt and try to fuck somebody bitch just to get some excitement while they can barely pay their bills. But we fall into a low estate. So it's going to take the strong ones. Who's the strong ones? The 144,000 and the 1/3. The 1/3 will be saved. But back to the scripture, for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the spirit shall of the spirit reap everlasting life. Life everlasting, Slakia. So, man, scriptures is powerful, and we gotta take use of that. But we need to take advantage of that because it's our only advantage. Because what the Lord is getting ready to bring is going to be terrible. Oh, let me get that scripture right there, actually. Psalm 47:2. For the Lord Yahweh Most High is terrible. He is a great king over all the earth. He shall subdue the people under us and the nations under our feet. Khan. And this is also coming. And understand the duality. We need to emphasize on that. Because that's exactly why Adam ate the fucking, figuratively, he ate the fucking apple, but he didn't eat shit. They went off. And Eve persuaded him and influenced him. And Adam didn't do what he was supposed to. He should have told the Lord, destroy this wicked bitch. But Adam only knew good. And so when they went off and got punished by the Lord Yahweh, now Adam and us, we didn't. Now we don't know good. Now we know not only good, but now we know bad and evil and wickedness. So to emphasize on the duality of things, we see that we are in the last woe in the World War III. Even Albert Einstein said it. I don't know what World War III will be fought with, but I know World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. because he understood the development of technology and also human nature. But per scripture, the book of life, and the guidance and the spirit that we've received, we understand that ain't gonna be no World War IV. Everything is pointing at the direction that the prophets have been saying it's gonna go. But back to my point, we see clearly that we're approaching Jacob's trouble. And it's going to be exactly that. We going to be in motherfucking trouble. Straight like that. Even if we are the hopeful elect, man, we're going to go through it. We're going to get scarred up, bruised up, maybe even bleed, even go hungry. Be in real, extreme, dangerous scenarios. But just like that, on the left, but on the right side, though, that's also going to come with the salvation, the spiritual powers, the guidance, being of the hopeful elect, and you being able to say, hey, I serve the Lord in true sincerity and ingenuity. There's nothing more better than that. Actually, that's actually a scripture. Let me go get my Apocrypha. Slakia, give me 1 second. All right. Let me flip to the page. I know it's a Wisdom of Solomon. Okay, Khan. I'm just gonna, let's see, hold on. Khan, which Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verses let's just start from the top. I'll speed through it a little bit. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 1. Wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily, and sweetly doth she order all things. The she is speaking of the spirit, even though the spirit is of a masculine entity, for the Father and the Son are men and masculine. The spirit is so tender and mercy and grace and wisdom ultimately that it comforts you like a woman. It's a beautiful thing. Bhakti Habashmi Shai. I loved her and sought her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse, Solomon says, and I was a lover of her beauty. So Solomon sought the spirit of the Lord out from his youth and understood the power of the spirit, even greater than us. And he is explaining it in this chapter. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life. Oh, wait, Slaki, I skipped a verse. For she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of the Most High. What the mysteries are the scriptures. People do not understand the scriptures. Point, period, blank. And a lover of his works. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? Heavy, 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 heavy. I got a precept. Real quick. Yep, Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Look at the times that we're in. So it's going to be the stability, the only stability that anybody can have is the spirit of the Lord and the guidance and the understanding of the scriptures. But all of those go hand in hand. And the strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord Yahweh is his treasure, Khan. And that is our treasure. And that is the spiritual powers right now that we have. And it's only to be increased. Right? That was okay. Now I'm going back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8. We are at verse 6. And if prudence work, who of all that are is a more cunning workman than she? Because this wisdom is wisdom on every topic of life that matters. The highest level of wisdom and intelligence that a man can have. And if a man love righteousness, her labors are, this is the point, virtues, for she teacheth temperance, prudence, justice, and fortitude, which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life. Whew, drop the mic. Man, close the book. That's it. That's all we need is this truth. And as per the title, be always ready, or be ready always, because we are going to be going through extreme times. And it's only going to escalate. And we need to be ready to face death. If shit, torture, poison, being hungry, being chained up, being, low hygiene, because who knows what's going to be going on in those concentration camps, seeing some horrific things. We need to get our mind right. And we need to accomplish this in the midst of this everyday life that we are going in. And it's no easy task, but it's a task that's been assigned to us because we can handle it. And we can overcome it. And the scripture says that we shall go from glory to glory. And so no matter what phase or how low you get, just understand that you're gonna go from glory to glory. So don't forget that you glory in right now, because the angels wish to have your spot, and they would switch in a snap of the fingers, in a blink of an eye. They would switch with us because the angels wish they could be in our position, because they understand. And we understand as well, but we have the flesh and we can be tempted. And that's the point. And that's the video or live session or whatever. I pray that this was edifying. Keep pushing, keep striving, and shalom.